All right, I am back again with a review for WGU class Web Development Fundamentals C777. Oh my God, guys and gals and theys and thems and whomever you are watching this video, holy crap, do yourself a favor. Go through the course material like normal, read all the required reading, watch all the required video, answer all the required questions at the end of each lesson inside of each module, and then take the pre-assessment and then schedule your assessment based on how well you've done on the pre-assessment. Holy crap. I started this course a long time ago, rolled it into this semester, and didn't do anything for a while. I've told you guys in the last couple of videos I took a hiatus, so I forgot everything, even from the beginning course where I was learning HTML and a little bit of CSS. And I might even be misconstruing that because it's been so long. What I'm remembering going through all this stuff may have been from when I started this course from the beginning, or in the beginning, and then I'm just now remembering it as I'm going through it. It's confusing, I'm not gonna lie, because, well, if you don't have any prior knowledge or experience with HTML and CSS and JavaScript, it's annoying and confusing. HTML is the easiest. CSS is a little harder than HTML, and JavaScript is just super weird. Especially compared to HTML and CSS, JavaScript is really weird. I attempted to do what I do in every other course. What I do in every other course is I go and I look up information on the internet about the course. I try to see what other people think about it. If they think, oh, it's easy to do in a couple of days or in a week or whatever. If that's the case, then what I do is I go to the pre-assessment. I see what the pre-assessment looks like, go through the whole thing. And I mean, obviously, usually I don't do very well because I haven't done any of the material whatsoever, but it gives me a good expectation of what the assessment is going to be like. So for this course, what I did originally was watched some crash courses for JavaScript and HTML and CSS on YouTube. And I mean, granted, the ones that I watched were like 2 hours long a piece. You can't learn HTML, you can't learn CSS, you can't learn JavaScript in 2 hours. You can't. The good news is you don't have to learn HTML or CSS or JavaScript even over the course of the whole semester. They don't expect you to know that. It takes at least 6 to 12 weeks to gain a real understanding of these languages. And furthermore, to become a master in JavaScript, which is just what I read on the internet, not more than an hour or two ago, it can take 2 to 4 years. So if you feel like you don't know, how to code a website in HTML, CSS, or JavaScript after the course, that's to be expected. There's a reason it's called fundamentals, because they're building a foundation for you to build on later, or for them to help you build on top of later. So my assumption is that at some point throughout our degree process, we're going to have much more HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and a lot more hands-on learning. This is a tough one. This may be the toughest course that I've taken thus far. So do yourself a favor, go through the course material. Just do it. Go through the course material, look at the course tips, And then what I would recommend doing after you've gone through all the material, sit down and watch a really good course on YouTube. Not a 1 hour or a 2 hour crash course. I'm talking like a 6 hour course that only covers HTML and CSS. And then a 3 or 4 hour course that goes over JavaScript. Then take your pre-assessment, and I bet you pass that, because you'll remember enough about it to pass the assessment. I have done HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I've pretty much had to relearn all of it, and I've done that over the course of the last 5 days. I've spent about 20 to 25 hours, and in that amount of time, I was able to knock out all the modules for HTML, knock out all the modules for CSS, and knock out half the modules for JavaScript. I take my exam tomorrow. I'm going to rewatch a whole crash course on it, on each one, and I'm going to finish the modules for my JavaScript in the coursework, in the course material. Now, yesterday, just before I started the JavaScript module, I took the pre-assessment and I passed, but just barely. So that means if I take the assessment and I get 4 or 5 questions wrong that I got right in the pre-assessment, or if the questions are more difficult, which they're most likely going to be, then I'm on the fence of passing and not passing. So I need to make sure I finish JavaScript so that I can maintain that above that line, that competency. What was I gonna say? Sorry, this is kind of off the cuff, by the way. I will update you again tomorrow when I finish taking my exam, and I'll let you know how I did. But this is not one to mess around with. The other courses that may be included in your semester, like the the user experience and design, C856, that I made a video about yesterday. You can go check that out. That was, I mean, a cakewalk compared to this. Even if you don't have any website design knowledge before you start C856, you go to enough websites every day to know what websites look like. And if you just follow the instructions in one of the easy template builder style websites for your prototype, I mean, I think I spent a total of 10 to 12 hours passing user experience and design. That course was kind of a joke, but I also design WordPress websites at work for a digital marketing and advertising firm on a very regular basis. So a lot of that I had learned just from work. Just don't do it. Don't think that there's some sort of a shortcut. I know a lot of you, maybe half of you, are going to go ahead and go through the course material anyway, and then there's a portion of you that are like me who are like, oh, do I really need to do all that? Is there a way that I can pass this exam without going through all the course material? No, don't do it. Unless you have a good foundational knowledge of HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript prior to you taking the course. If you don't, and this is the first time you're ever utilizing anything, which, by the way, I do have some, albeit mediocre amount of experience with HTML and CSS, just working on, the HTML or CSS side of the WordPress websites that we develop at my firm. Just because it doesn't always work right. So sometimes you got to go into the HTML file or the CSS file and try to track down what it is that's not working right and fix it yourself, right? That's not enough. It's really not. So do yourself a favor and go through the course material and then watch some crash course videos and then take the pre-assessment and then take the assessment once you're comfortable with your pre-assessment score. I was able to go from not passing the pre-assessment to passing the pre-assessment in 4 days. But that took 5 or 6 hours of studying every day for 4 days. So all in all, you can assume that depending on who you are as an individual, it's going to take you about 40 hours. And you can do that. You do 2 hours a day for 20 days. You're out of there in 3 weeks. A lot of it is syntax. You'll know what I mean when you start the course. And a lot of the questions give you hints. Just as an example, there may be a question on the assessment that asks you, oh, what's the proper way to write this sort of a statement? And, they may use parentheses where they're supposed to use curly braces. And just by that fact alone, you can say, oh, well, that eliminates 2 out of the 4 answers. So let me look at those other 2 and I can determine which answer is the correct answer. There's a lot of stuff like that on there. There's also a lot of, here's a snippet of code. What's going to happen when, this line executes or whatever. And as long as you go through the course material, you'll know. You'll know exactly what it is. And you might not get the best score in the world on your exam, but you'll pass, and that's the point. And I was a little concerned because even after this week, obviously, we're not going to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a week, okay? Nobody's going to learn all of those in a week. It's too much information to retain. Even people who already have their degree and are working in their first software engineering job, learn more in 6 months. I looked this up the other day, too. They learn more, all of them have said, or most of them have said, that they learned more in the first 6 months they were working in their software development career than they did in all 4 years of their software engineering educational career. So this whole degree is primarily just setting us up with a good foundational understanding of what the hell is going on. We're going to get more experience. Don't feel bad if you feel like this shit doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't make sense to most people, especially beginners. So you're not alone. You're not alone. And if you don't take solace in that, take solace in the fact that I am somewhat familiar with all of this, and it's still, looks like Chinese to me half the time. There's just too much to learn. Just go over everything. Even if you go through it all quick, you're going to notice that on the required reading and the required videos and the questions that they ask you at the end of each page within the module or each lesson within the module directly correlates with the information that's on the exam. So they're setting you up for success as best as they can, which is cool. I noticed that, and I can't say that every other class has been that way. So it's nice to see that here. They also repeat themselves a lot, and they show you the same type of information multiple ways, so that no matter what your learning style is, you have a better chance of retaining the information. The one thing that I will say is you better get ready to read. There's a lot of reading. And take it seriously. If you don't, you're gonna regret it. Most courses most classes that I've come in contact with, I've been able to knock out in a week or 2. This is a 3-week to a 4-week class, at least. So take your time, be patient, put an hour or 2 into it each day, and if you forget something, look it up. That's what most software engineers have to do anyway. They don't remember all the little intricacies of each language. That would be preposterous. You would have to have some sort of photographic memory for that to apply to you. So just look it up, jog your memory. If you read something, if you're like me, I might have to read something 2, 3, 4, 5 times before I finally understand what it is that I'm actually reading. Take the time and reread it. That's the best advice I can give you, and I really hope this helps. And tomorrow I will post another video, or you know what, probably I'll post a comment on this video, just letting you guys know what happened. Because I've pretty much given you an overview of everything and what to expect. There's really nothing more to it for this one. I'm sorry, I wish I could be more help, but this is just something that you're gonna have to do, and you're just gonna have to grit your teeth and get it done. So go through the course material, it's very helpful. If you don't understand something, Google it to try and gain a different perspective. Once you finish the course material, spend the 6 to 10 hours watching either like 3-hour-long crash courses or 4-hour-long crash courses on YouTube on each individual portion. So watch one on HTML5, one on CSS, one on JavaScript, just to make sure that you're getting all these different learning styles out of the way, and then take your pre-test and see how you do. I actually found what everybody else is calling a really good crash course for HTML and CSS the other day. So I saved that to my YouTube watch later, again, list or whatever it is. And I'm gonna link that comment down, or that, I'm gonna put that link down in the description. I wouldn't start there. Don't start there. It threw me for a loop and kind of messed me up. Go through the course material first, then watch it. And I'm gonna look really quick right before I post this for a really good JavaScript video. I'm gonna try to find one from the same guy whose other HTML and CSS crash course I'm gonna link in the description. Everybody has said, that this was the best one that they had watched, and that the way that he explains things really makes sense to them, and yada, yada, yada. So that's what I'm gonna watch tomorrow, but I'm gonna link it now. So see if you feel the same way. Other than that, cheers. I'm drinking a very, very, very well-deserved beer because I've had about a 65 to 70 hour week. And tomorrow it's gonna be a long day of finishing JavaScript and then watching some crash course videos just to top it off. So, and then I have to take the pre-assessment again just to make sure and see, did I do better this time? Because if not, then I'm gonna have to go through that last minute course material again and see and try to gain some insight before my scheduled exam at 7 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern time. Right after I finish the exam, I'll let you know what happened, and God forbid, knock on wood, I don't have to give you guys some bad news. If I do, I'll tell you what I think the problem was so that you can prepare yourselves. Leave me some comments. If you have questions, I will help you as best I can, but I really think that I've given you the best overview and what to expect, and just what's the phrase I'm looking for? Sequence of operation to go in, to be successful. But thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and you know what? I'm not a YouTuber, obviously, so I don't really give a shit if you do or not, but it's for your benefit, to be honest with you. If you're in the same program that I am and you're behind where I am currently, then this is going to benefit you tremendously. And the reason why I'm creating these videos is because I wish I could find someone who just sits down and tells you how it is for my benefit, which I found a couple people who are pretty good, but I'm trying to do that better than them because I don't feel like they gave me enough insight to really prepare me for some of these courses. So if this is helpful, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification thing so that you know when I post a new video, because chances are all of the classes I'm going to be taking, you're going to be taking. And I have a goal of, today is April 28th, 2023. So I have a goal of finishing my degree either by the end of this year or by this time next year, which is twice as fast as what WGU has predicted I will finish it in. That's just because I was slacking. So I'm going to be going through this stuff quick, or as quick as possible. So I'll probably have videos up well before you start, or well before you're at the point of finishing a course. So if you want some extra help, I'm here to help out, man. I wish that I had somebody do this for me, so I'm going to do it for you. Other than that, enjoy your weekend, and look out for my comment on what happens tomorrow during my exam. I'll talk to y'all later. Cheers.